What's up, guys? It's Peyton back with another video. It has been a minute since my last video, mainly because I've been feeling under the weather. I have not been feeling good. I've got what a lot of people seem to have right now, some kind of BS crud that just won't seem to go away. You might be able to still hear it in my voice a little bit, but either way, I do have a new boot that I would like to give this is absolutely not a review. This is a preliminary look and thoughts on these boots after wearing them for 3 days straight, which is not very long at all, but I can give you some initial thoughts. I can give you some specs, and there's not a whole lot of content on these boots yet because they're relatively brand new. So these are the new Thursday Challenger. These are Thursday's premium black label line. They do have a non-black label Challenger, but it's built the same way. It's just not as premium of leathers and comes with one less set of laces. But either way, this is the Thursday Challenger. It is made to mimic and resemble Pacific Northwest logger style boots. And notice I said resemble. It is not a Pacific Northwest logger boot. It is not made to be one. Thursday is not trying to make it one. I hear people say they're trying to take a swing at Nick's and Drew's and JK and Frank's and White's, and that's not at all what this is. And I'll go over what I think this is and what I think it's good for. But yeah, but that's the styling, is the Pacific Northwest logger. This is in the Merriam Tuscanello horse rump with a TPR coating, thermoplastic resin coating over the top, gives it that nice shine. It is a very pretty boot. It smells incredible. Horse rump, horse leather in general just smells incredible. So what I got, I do have leather laces in here right now. It came with them. If you've watched my other videos, I'm not a fan of leather laces for any kind of hard use boots. These boots are not going to be hard use. These are a boot I wear. I'm not scared to do stuff in them, but they will absolutely not be used for any kind of work if I can help it. I bought these boots because they were a good price for the materials I was getting. I like the look of them. This is the style I prefer coming out of the Pacific Northwest. And this is a more casual version of that, and it's very, very good at being a casual version of that. So let's just jump into it. Again, the leather is Merriam Tannery out of Italy, Tuscanello horse rump with a TPR coating on top. Very beautiful leather, smells incredible. These are still new enough, I can still smell them when they're actually on my feet if I'm sitting down, which is pretty crazy. I mean, this leather has a beautiful smell to it. It's got a medium stiff temper. It's not a hard leather. It's not an overly stiff leather, but it does have rigidity to it and substance to it. It's thinner, like most horse rump is. It's not thin, but it's thinner because most horse rump is such a tight grain that it's not going to be super thick. And again, that's what we're going to get into the differences of this and P&W brands. It is a double row stitched down construction. It is stitched completely through the V100 lug outsole. The heel is nailed in. It is a true stacked leather heel with a true leather midsole and leather insole, and it has a full length leather sock liner over that leather insole. So it is a full length leather insole, but it does have that full leather slip sock liner over the leather insole with a little bit of cushion in the heel. One second, my dog's eating a bobby pin. Stop that. Sorry about that. My wife leaves her bobby pins laying around and the dog chews on them. So, you know, then I get in trouble for her bobby pins being messed up. Either way, full length leather slip sock liner to cover that leather insole. It is unlined. It is completely unlined in the in the quarters here. It is lined in the vamp. This is a true leather toe cap, unlike the Captain and all those which are spliced right here at the junction. This is a true leather toe cap. As you can see, it has a typical Thursday toe, you know, a very almondy style toe. It's a little bit more almond shaped than like a 55 last would be, but it's still not constricting. It has true leather heel counters, although they are thinner than P&W brands, and I'll talk to you about that, why I think that's a plus. And it has a leather reinforced toe. Not just the toe cap, but actually leather in the toe to give it its stiffness. It's not Celastic. And yeah, it's a good looking boot, man, especially if you're into this style and it's something you enjoy being into the Pacific Northwest. I think this is a great option for you if you're not using them for hard labor or for strenuous work. It does have a fully gusseted tongue, coming in with 6 eyelets, 2 speed hooks, and an extra eyelet at the top if you really wanted to cinch it down. 4 rows of stitching where the vamp meets the quarter. 3 rows of stitching on the counter. Again, very Pacific Northwest, very reminiscent of that style. So, why is this boot reminiscent of a Pacific Northwest boot and not a Pacific Northwest boot? I want to be clear when I say this boot is better built as far as construction materials, construction techniques than most boots in its price range. I do not see many boots in this price range, especially not with, again, a Merriam leather. You can get the base model Challenger with just some Thursday leathers from probably Lafarque Tannery down there in Mexico. I think one's a hot stuff pull up and one's a rugged and resilient, I believe. And they're coming in at $289. That is unbelievable for this boot. Crazy, crazy, because this boot truly is more boot than anyone that doesn't do manual labor or heavy outdoor use would really ever need. That's not saying you shouldn't get it if this is your style, but it's a pretty beefy boot for the materials used and for the application that it's made to be used for, and also for the price point. This boot in the Merriam Tuscanello horse rump was $369. They have one in CF Stead that is coming in at $349. They have one in a black T-core horsehide that is coming in, I believe, at $359. And then they do have a shell cordovan version of this that is coming in, I believe, at $525. So for a Merriam horse rump with a TPR coating coming in, I got this shipped to my door for $403. So why is this boot reminiscent? You know, I know I ramble. It does have the sole. It is stitched all the way through like a P&W boot. The heel counter is leather. That being said, it is a much thinner leather. It's still supportive. It's still got a good feeling to it. But compared to a P&W boot that has that big heel cup that hourglasses out and really locks in your heel, that's not what this is made to do. It does have a good structure to it, and it does a good job at what it does, but for heavy, heavy work use, that's not what this heel counter is built for. It does have a true leather insole. It does have a full-length leather midsole. Now, here's where you really start seeing the differences, and actually my favorite thing about this boot. On Thursday's website, they have a cutaway of this boot where it's cut in half like Rose Anvil does, and you can see all the internal components. And this midsole has grooves or cavities cut into it horizontally across the foot like this, which gives you flex points in that midsole. So upsides and downsides. Does that make this boot less durable as far as the midsole goes? Of course it does. You take any material out of something, it's going to make that material less substantial, less rigid, and less resilient. That being said, it's still a good thick midsole. It's not cut all the way to the edge. It's just cut out in the center to give you some flex points. And again, these boots have been worn 3 days straight. every day for 3 days straight. And they are much more flexible than any other PNW boot, any PNW boot that I've ever had in that time frame. And they should be. Again, these are not a PNW boot, but they have that styling. So if you're looking for something in that ballpark that maybe is a little bit cheaper out the door, but still has very good materials and a rugged, not only appearance, but capability, I think this is a good option for you. I've seen people compare this to the Frank's Patriot, which is coming in at $379 now, I believe. And I've seen people compare it to the Drew's Logger, which is also coming in at $379. There is no world possible that people, and the Drew's Logger is made in Mexico as well. The Frank's Patriot is made in Spokane at Frank's. They just use a little bit different cuts of leather. They don't McKay stitch it. Long, I'm sure there's plenty of videos you can watch on the Frank's Patriot boot. Phenomenal boot. This boot should not be compared to Frank's Patriot or Drew's Logger series made in Mexico in any facet. It's just not built for the same reasons and built for the same purpose. Those are work boots. They are dedicated work boots. They are fat slabs of leather heel counters, 11, 12 iron leather heel counters. They're built to be used and abused and beat up. They're made of 7 to 9 ounce leather, depending on which pair you get. They're built for a different purpose. These are reminiscent in style, and they are incredibly durable compared to other boots in this price range, but they're still not what I would call a dedicated work boot. That being said, if you wanted to work in these, could these take it? Absolutely. They don't have a steel toe or a composite toe, which is required for most trades. But as far as just the sole, the upper, the hardware feels good. The heel components, the internal components, this boot can absolutely take it. But the profile of it, the leather choices they're using, the way they put those relief cuts in there to ease break in, this boot is really more of a casual, rugged boot. That's what it's made to be. And I think they absolutely nailed it. I really do think they nailed it. So I got a new puppy. Hey, stop scratching. Sorry, new puppy in the house. Dog's eating bobby pins. You know how it goes, I'm sure. But yeah, it's a phenomenal boot for the price. And again, I've only worn it 3 days. I'm going to continue to wear it because I like it. It truly was. Everybody says this. It felt almost broken in out of the box. The leather is nice, good temper, but it's not hard. It's not overly hard to flex. It starts to mold relatively quickly. That footbed is hard, but if you're used to leather insoles, it won't bother you. And as far as the flexing, it's very, very easy compared to other boots of this similar style. I think this boot is easily comparable in durability to Truman, to Parkhurst, to Grant Stone. Now, is the finishing as high quality as Grant Stone, Parkhurst, or Truman? No, it's not. Is it good? Yes. I don't see many stitches out of place, but you'll see a couple stitches that go long here or there. But yet again, if you're going to get a Merriam horse rump from Parkhurst or Truman, you're looking up around the $500+ range. If you're going to get it from Grant Stone, you're probably looking close to that as well. Grant Stones are made in China. Parkhurst are made in Spain, I think. And obviously Truman's are made in Oregon. But this boot is definitely able to be compared to those, especially Truman, because I think Truman is incredibly overhyped for their durability. They don't use true toe caps, at least not on most of their models. They have a toe cap. Truman splices it. Truman also uses Goodyear welt construction, but they don't hand welt. They use gimming. Yet again, you're getting a very nice boot made in the United States, which is why they are worth it for the price. But As far as construction techniques, I think Truman is overpriced for construction, well priced for the construction and where it's being made. You know, you're always going to pay a premium for that USA made label, and for good reason, in my opinion. You know, most of my boots are good, are made in the USA, but couldn't pass this up when I saw it. Really like it, liking it so far, enjoying wearing it. It's a sleek boot. It looks really good on the foot. As far as sizing, I am a 9.5 E on the Brannock, between an E and a double E on the Brannock. Thursday says take a half size down from your normal shoe size. I just went with a 9.5, a 9.5, instead of a 9. Like a lot of people say, they go a half size down from their Brannock in Thursday. The reason I did not do that with this one is because there was no width options yet. This is a 9.5, and they did not specify the last or the width that this is built on. I would say it's a D to E width last. It is, when I tighten it down, it is snug around my instep. It is snug around the ball of my foot. And lengthwise, it's not, actually, I don't feel like it's too long. I feel like I have about that thumb's width in the front there. But could I have gotten to a 9? Especially if they came up with a double E width? Absolutely. I probably would have went with a 9 double E. But I definitely could not have gone with a 9 in their standard width. It would have been too tight, too constricting. And with the gusseted tongue, and I have such a high instep and big ankle, got freaking cankles over here, you know, and I wouldn't have been able to get past the turn without a lot of effort. It wouldn't have been comfortable. So very happy. I went true to Brannock size, but yet again, I went true to Brannock in length. This is a standard width, 2 and E width. Last, from what I understand, and lengthwise, it fits perfect to maybe a little long if you go true to size. So you just know your foot, know your Brannock measurement. But Thursday does have exceptional return policies. Stop barking. Thursday does have exceptional return policies and customer service. So definitely go give it a look if you want something that's different, something that's from a different company that's coming out with a different take on a very famous style. Hey, stop barking. I'm sorry. I swear, this is impromptu. You know, we do everything on one take though. So great option, great looking boots, wears very well. It's rugged, it's tough, but it's not a dedicated work boot. Thank you for watching. I hope y'all and y'all's families are safe out there and y'all have a blessed day.